We ready? Well, good morning, everybody. I'll call to order the Delta County Board of Commissioners regular meeting for December 19th, 2023 to order. Please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. From time to time, I like to come up with a quote from the past. Doing some reading this past weekend, I stumbled across this one. The cornerstone of the republic lies in our treating each man on his worth as a man, paying no heed to his creed, his birthplace, or his occupation, asking not whether he is rich or poor, whether he labors with head or hand, asking only whether he acts decently and honorably in the relations of his life, whether he behaves well to his family, to his neighbors, to the state. We base our regard for each man on the essentials and not the accidents. This is from President Theodore Roosevelt, April 26, 1907. Thank you for indulging me. Do we have any additions or edits to our agenda?
We do, under commissioner business, then yesterday we were able to finalize the job description for the JBBS coordinator for our jail. The JBBS program is funded by grants from the state, and we are taking the coordinator position in-house. Again, that was just finalized yesterday, and so the addition would be to request for our policy that the commissioners consider adding an FTE for the JBBS coordinator position.
I also have one item I'd like to add to the agenda. They have a letter to Mayor Johnson of Denver regarding the November 2024 ballot measure to prohibit slaughter houses in Denver. Okay.
Thank you. Anything else? Terry? The agenda will stand as amended then. Constituent time. Anybody like to visit with commissioners this morning? Anybody online? Hearing none, we'll move to County Clerk, Terry Stevenson.
Good morning, Commissioners and Robbie. I have the minutes for the December 5th, 2023 BOCC regular meeting. Are there any additions, changes, or deletions?
I have none.
No, very good.
Have the minutes for the December 12th special meeting, BOCC special meeting, sitting at the Board of Equalization. Were there any additions, changes, or deletions?
Good.
This morning, I have the consideration of a renewal liquor license for a hotel and restaurant for Cheers Management LLC, doing business as a Stone Fly Cantina located at 7904 Shea Road. I've received all necessary documentation and fees and have contacted the sheriff's office, and they have had no issues with this liquor license. Therefore, I would recommend renewal.
I'll move the board approve the renewal for a hotel and restaurant liquor license for Cheers Management LLC, doing business at the Stonefly Cantina located at 7904 J Road in Austin.
I second that.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So done.
Thank you. That's all I have this morning.
Very good. Commissioner business, Robbie?
First item of business, the Road and Bridge Foreman District 2, Dan Sickles, will be here at 9 a.m. So we'll wait until that for your first item. Next is your designation of CCI proxy to vote during the steering committee meeting starting in 2024.
So I will be willing to continue to serve as the voting member for all of the steering committees. And then we also need to place Annie Gallegos as our Health and Human Services proxy. So
Do we need to vote on that or just,
Yes, we do. I will.
is that a motion?
I will make that a motion, yeah.
I second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye. Thank you, Don, for your service there. And for everybody to know, Don Supis is the president now for CCI for 2024. And we're very proud of his service there and his representation.
Yes, very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next I'll turn it over to Scott Sheet, Public Works Director for Mystic Mesa Road discussion.
Actually, I'm gonna do the Douglas, Tim Cracken's gonna do, Mystic Mesa.
Okay,
I would like to propose to the commissioners, we've been getting a lot of complaints that they would like to get stop signs, make a three-way stop at Dogwood Avenue in Crawford. We've had some traffic problems, speeding, that kind of thing. The speed limit on Dogwood is 25 in town. And we've caught people at 58 miles an hour. The average speed was 24. But like I said, we've had some higher speed in Dogwood at westbound. The same 53 miles an hour. So we would like to put up stop signs at the county boundary and another one on the town side heading east out of town.
Questions, comments for Scott on the Dogwood stop signs? Looking at the map here, it looks like that one is in town, one is out of town.
Do we have,
One's town, one's
Yeah.
on us.
do we have a letter from the town of Crawford requesting this?
No,
We've had a number of citizens contact us, so.
I have talked to Callie with the town and she was for it.
I would feel a lot more comfortable, especially we're doing this inside their municipal boundary, that it was an action, it was an action of their board saying to do it personally.
Okay.
I can understand the justification on this street, but,
Yeah, A Street, almost 60 miles an hour. Holy cow, for max. Sheriff, you or the undersheriff have any thoughts here?
Yeah, I think it's justified also. We've had a lot of complaints from the city about that intersection. We've had a lot of directed patrols in that area, try to slow people down. I know they have some speed limit signs up there. The electronic billboard has been up there. We put some other sheriff's office signs up there to try to slow people down. Just doesn't seem to be working. So I think the stop signs could possibly help.
I've received citizen complaints as well, concerned about, I've received citizen complaints as well, concerned about their kids getting on and off the buses.
well, I'll move that the board, conditionally approve, stop signs at Dogwood Avenue and A Street. Provided that the town, formally approve this also with an action of their board.
I'll second it.
And for clarifications, town of Crawford district.
Yes,
I
sorry.
will get you a letter.
Yeah, like I said, approval of their board, that's all you need, it's conditional. Doesn't have to come back to us.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, so done. Could you let me know when those get installed?
Yes.
And thank you guys for the additional patrols out there. I've heard a lot of people comment on.
We have proposed stop signs, with me at G Road and Sawmill Mesa. We've been, approached by citizens themselves as well, wanting a three-way stop at that intersection. And so that was another proposal. We had on G Road northbound 86 miles per hour was the maximum. The average speed was 43. G Road eastbound, we've had 84 miles an hour maximum speed and average of 45. And Sawmill Mesa, 74 miles an hour maximum speed. So the thinking is if they knew there was stops there, that they would have to be slowing down, I'm sure. Instead of going through there, into the prison or coming back from the prison area.
I'm a little bit apprehensive about this one. I still do not feel that this is a well-designed intersection. I don't see that we solved the problem by putting stop signs on this. Sheriff, Unsheriff, maybe you guys feel differently. But I still feel that this intersection needs to be redesigned. We need to kick that curve out back to the east. Bring that intersection into the apex of that hill instead on the downhill side. I'm really concerned that this is not the answer to fix this intersection. We've talked about this for 7 years now that I've been a commissioner. And I just don't feel that this is the right approach.
We're treating a symptom here.
Well, yeah.
But if the improvements were made as you were discussed, would you still be in favor of the stop signs?
If we redid that intersection, brought it out to the apex of the hill, made that a 90-degree, I think then a stop sign would probably fix the problem.
I only wanted the stop signs to go in now with the plan of doing that, improving that intersection. Like you said, we've talked about this for 7 years and nothing's come to fruition on that. At least the stop signs will kind of give them some notice and maybe cut down on the speeding, and it might force some of the commuters to go on the 4-lane and use the regular bypass rather than this country road. But my idea was to get the stop signs in on the Sawmill Mesa side, on the north side of that road. Engineering was still looking into if we had a 30-foot easement on the north side. On the south side of the road, we have a 30-foot easement, but on the north side, he hasn't found anything yet. And I just wanted to get something done with the idea of improving that intersection.
I'd feel a lot better if we were fixing the problem instead of putting a Band-Aid on it.
Well, with the idea of fixing the problem, putting the stop signs now with the idea of improving that. Because like you said, we've talked about this for a long time. And we could put the stop signs up, within a week to where the construction will take a month or two, especially if we have to prove up on the easement on the north side of Sawmill Mesa Road.
So in the plan set here, it shows pavement to be removed as a stipple pattern. Is that something that's gonna happen with the stop sign installation?
And you're talking about this right here?
Yes.
Yeah. I would, right now, I would rather get the stop signs up. And then when we have the construction equipment out there, we were gonna raise Sawmill Mesa Road also, so it wasn't such a big dip coming up to the intersection coming from the prison. But I'd rather get the stop signs in now and start the construction process. It'll be months to get that done and completed.
Sheriff? Where are you at on this one?
So I agree with both commissioners.
Are you an attorney also?
We approved your budget.
I agree with both. But it is a poorly designed intersection, for sure. The only thing that concerns me about stop signs is approaching Sawmill Mesa on the G50 side with the traffic coming in from the west to the east. That's kind of a hard, intersection. You have to really kind of get out there to look down the hill and make sure nobody's coming concerns me about the stop signs, if somebody's coming off of G50 onto Sawmill and they're assuming the person coming east or even west is gonna stop for the stop signs and they pull out, you're gonna have a tragic. That's
But
the
that
only
could-
thing about this,
That,
the stop sign.
yeah, you know, that could happen even when we improve that
Absolutely.
too, so.
So would you recommend putting stop signs in until we can get this construction done, or?
You know, I think anything would help. That's the only thing that concerns me. It's the potential of somebody assuming that east and westbound traffic is gonna stop at those and they pull out. Especially when they first go up and people aren't used to it.
Well, on the G road going to the prison, thought of putting one of those lighted stop signs up, you know, stop ahead and then the stop sign like we have on G50 road coming into Delta, so make it as obvious as we can.
Yeah.
I think we would need to do it on both
Mhm.
sides.
Maybe for a month or more, you know, maybe the billboard and signage, you know,
Yeah.
saying you stop ahead.
Yeah,
I think if we added the stop signs at the time of that road improvement, we're gonna have a lot less issues because people are gonna see the physical change of the intersection. Versus. You know, they've driven that. When people heading out to prison, they've driven that same stretch of road now for years and years. And suddenly adding a stop sign, I don't know, I'm just concerned.
I'll add one more thing too, that Sawmill Mason G50 is probably one of the most patrolled intersections and section of county roads in the county for directed patrols, just for the reasons that we're talking about. For speed and dangerous conditions.
I went out there to look at this again just the other day when I seen this on the agenda. And once again, I was driving the speed limit heading west. And I got passed like I was standing still. And they were mad that I was driving the speed limit. So, I mean, it's definitely an issue out there. Like I said, I still, the whole intersection needs a redesign. And I think that would solve a lot, but.
So it's a timing issue on whether we can get, on when we can get this reconstruction done on this intersection. Scott, what do you think? Is this first quarter of 24 project?
That would be my plan, yeah.
We don't even, but do we even have any right of way on the east side of G50 there?
It's being worked on right now, so I don't know what we're looking at time-wise for that, but.
I'd almost like to table this and get some of that information back to us. So what do you guys think?
I gotta be honest with you right now, I'm a no vote on this at this point in time, so.
tabling it's fine with me, you know, 7 years, what's another year?
I'm not talking a year, I'm talking weeks here
Well-
until we get,
Well, it'll be months, it won't be weeks. It'll be
well, until
months.
we get better information and
Mhm.
figure out when we can actually do this work.
Yeah, if you want to table it, that's fine with me.
So Scott, this fall back to you on getting the right information back
Okay.
from engineering.
We need to meet with the correctional facility. Just keep them in the loop, but
Probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
I did talk with Bill Hunt as well on that. He seemed to be in favors.
okay.
And it'd be nice to see a design of what that intersection would look like too.
We have a pretty good design on drawn up. We're just trying to get the right of way to make it happen.
And a cross section too, for line of sight.
Cause the aerial photos, they don't show elevations.
No,
And it's very misleading here. This aerial photo looks pretty good, but you get out there, those elevations are tricky.
right, they are. And one thing we would need to do is fill the west side of G Road right there, so I'm gonna bring it up. So you don't have to stop on that.
Try not to stop on a hill.
Yeah,
That would be good.
that's one thing that we have in.
Anything else on Sawmill Mesa then? We'll see this hopefully in January then. Okay. We ready to talk Mystic Mesa then? You want to move on and
We can go to ratify warrants. Karen O'Brien will be here shortly.
He's on a call.
I'll move that the board ratifies warrants from the various funds. Warrant expenditures paid by warrant numbers 149458 through 149692 and ACH transactions 579 through 611 from November 1st, 2023 through November 30th, 2023, totaling $2,088,663.60 in accounts payable and $1,598,813.47 in monthly county human services and health department November 2023 payroll for items budgeted and approved per Delta County policy.
I second that.
any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Chris, are you ready for the transportation?
You can.
Okay.
Your transport resolution regulations.
Yep.
So last December 9th, we per state statute had to adopt regulations for the regulation of secure transportation services for people undergoing behavioral health crisis in the county. We passed those and under the licensing and inspection service, and that's been in effect for a year now. And we just wanna do those regulations, some minor updates. We had the work session last week. The main change in the update for this year is clarifying the reciprocity process. We had mentioned last year that we would accept licenses from other counties on reciprocity, but didn't really flush that process out. And we've had 3 providers request reciprocity within the last year. So I added some language in there that we had discussed about clarifying that basically it's not an automatic reciprocity. They do still have to reach out, contact us, give us basic contact information, provide us proof of a license and current permits in another county and current proof of insurance so that we know that they are in fact valid and meet all the state requirements. Any questions about anything in the regulations? I've worked with John Bear on this as well.
Any changes in this from the work session? We
Just implemented the changes that you guys have requested.
I appreciate all the work that you've gone into this, a lot of down in the weeds type of information has to be sought out and noted and documented. Thank you to you and John for getting all this together. And what resolution will this be?
26.
Well, I move that we approve the resolution adopting updated regulations concerning secure transportation services in Delta County, resolution number 2023-R-26.
I'll second the motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Have you got a clean copy there? Tim, while we're passing this around, why don't you come on up? To the hot seat.
Been here before.
Go ahead, Rob.
Oh, turn this over to Tim then for the discussion on Mystic Mesa.
Good morning, Commissioners. For your consideration today is a resolution to add Mystic Mesa Road within Section 17 to the road maintenance program. It's been inspected, and it meets the standard. And it's about a third of a mile of road that would be accepted for maintenance. Are there any questions?
This is a project that what started last spring. The bridge was replaced. I think the homeowners bought all the material, the county installed it to our specs.
Correct.
I think you guys remember this project.
Yeah, it seems like this has been a number of years ago that we started this, wasn't it?
About 9 months.
Has it only been that long? Okay, seems like a long time ago.
It was a culvert.
A culvert, yes. And this is something John Allen as Road and Bridge Foreman looked at and agreed to.
Okay.
Correct.
So, Tim, the deed that's in the agenda packet is not signed. Do you have a signed deed from Mr. Gall?
I do. I can go get it, but yes, we do. I thought I had updated that.
We used to do the maintenance in this area years ago.
I think it was 2007 maybe that we quit doing maintenance on it.
At the landowner's request.
Correct.
Correct.
That was the date of the resolutions.
Yeah.
Okay. Sir, did you have something you wanted to add? You raised your hand there. Then you're gonna have to come up, you're gonna have to come up to the microphone and introduce yourself, please.
Okay. My name is Rod Johnson. I'm a resident that lives off of this section of road. I just have a couple of questions and then maybe a recommendation on one thing. Help me understand, when you use the word the county will add it to the maintenance program, in common language, how does that differ from just being a county road? Is that just the terms that?
That is the term we use, yeah.
Okay.
They follow the same maintenance.
So there's no
protocol.
differentiation between road A and B if it's under the county jurisdiction?
Correct, for that level of road, yes.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. The other thing is I just want to make sure, if I could, that this new resolution absolutely negates and replaces the resolution that was done back in, the date is, 2007-R-038. In other words, the one that made it private.
Yes,
Does it actually do that? That's just kind of a.
that is one of the whereases in the resolution is to vacate that resolution.
Yeah, all right. Well, as a layman, when you start using whereas, I wonder sometimes what it really said. Fair?
A lawyer gets added to their bonus every time they use the term whereas, so.
John's agreeing.
Well, I didn't know that. I'll get some more.
Yeah. And lastly, I'd like to recommend in addition to, or in place of whatever, of the description that's on this resolution that you're looking at today, that this map actually be a part of it.
I also wanted a map in there.
I mean, this
Right.
was a part of the original one.
Yes.
That we're negating. And it makes it clear and easy, and it has the description on the map as well, although it's hard to read.
So, Chair, that map is referenced in the resolution.
Mhm,
And that's why, so there was no survey done for this.
correct.
So the only way that a legal could be obtained is by reference to a previous survey, which is that Jay Creek Valley Ranch Estates Minor Subdivision plat. And that is referenced in the resolution.
Okay. Can we attach it to the resolution when it gets filed? If we're gonna reference it.
You can do whatever you want, it's referenced there.
Okay.
Part of the struggle with that is when you do some of that, just the readability even.
Understand.
You can do whatever you want. If you want to make that part of your motion, but it's already a recorded document that's referenced.
Correct.
There's
So,
there's the
the reference number, so
Yeah.
that's why it's written that way, and it's already part of the clerk and recorder's real estate records.
The only thing that strikes me, if I may, is that if someone's looking this up in the clerk's office and they see this resolution and the map isn't with it, then they have to go back and figure out. That's all, just.
Actually,
something
the reception number's right there, so it's just say I want 485-207, and it's as simple as pulling it up right there, so, but.
All right, well, whatever,
And I can doc link the two documents together, so it's just a course of that.
that would help.
Thank you, Terry.
And lastly is thank you for addressing this particular issue on behalf of myself and all the residents out there.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any other questions, comments, or engineering? Be my recommendation, go ahead and approve this one.
Go ahead, John. Mhm.
I guess I'm just gonna ask in the motion as well, make it clear that you're accepting the deed. Accepting the right of way that's part of the deed as well. So sorry, that's a little,
Isn't is that not in the resolution?
well, it's on the deed.
We're accepting the deed in the resolution?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will move that the board adopt resolution number 2023-R-27, a resolution to add Mystic Mesa Road within section 17 to the road maintenance program. In addition to this will be the signed deed, which includes road right of way.
I second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. But, thank you guys for your extended work on that, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you.
Dan is here.
Don't run off. Well, the board would like to recognize Mr. Dan Sickles here on this. Finally, his retirement.
Dan, come on up here.
Up there, Dan.
So how many years now, Dan?
29.
29 years. 29 years. How many years of that as foreman?
23.
23 years as district foreman. So morning.
Thank you.
I wanna personally thank Dan. I've worked with Dan now for a lot of years. My time at Orchard City and now as a District 2 commissioner. One of the things that I can't stress enough is how much Dan put the safety of our citizens ahead of everything else. He always made sure roads were plowed in the snowstorms. He always made sure that we had our roads to the best of him and his crew's ability. He's brought on a lot of guys, trained a lot of guys over the years. We've done a lot of projects, made a lot of improvements. And the citizens in District 2 do not realize how lucky they are to have somebody that cared about their safety as much as Dan. So I just want to thank you, Dan, and thank you for your diligence for all these years.
Well, thank you. It's been a blessing to be able to grow up and work in Delta County and work with all these great people of Delta County, commissioners, administrators. Just too many people to comment on, but it's been definitely a blessing for me.
And you got North Road done.
Hell or high water.
You want a picture, Lindsay?
And there's a retirement party for you tomorrow over at the Rubidoux Room.
Somebody said something about that. Lunch is on me.
And Dan, the other districts have benefited from your experience too, and the way you have loaned people out to train and help the other folks out. That has set a standard for the rest of us, so.
Well, thank you, and greatly appreciated to work with the other districts because it's one takes care of the other. It's one team, Delta County team.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dan, what time you buying lunch tomorrow? Robbie, I'll turn it back over to you.
Karen O'Brien is here to address the IGA, the recovery funds for the support of core public health. Okay.
Yes, this is the IGA with the State Health Department for additional funding for core services for public health. It is a rather short window, December 1st to June 30th, but any funds are definitely welcome. So this was basically some recovery funds that the state had, the American Rescue Funds, and it's for $103,199. There's a scope of work that goes through with that. Any grant has a scope of work. So, but it's a really welcome because we just have a brand new nurse practitioner on board. And so this will be very helpful in her supplementing her salary as well as others in the department.
Any questions for Karen on this?
And you said this is just first 2 quarters of the year then, December 1st through, okay.
And it's a ratification.
Well, then
Additional.
I will move that the board approve the IGA with the state of Colorado for SLFRF, agreement number 2024, 3021, and the dollar amount of $103,199.
I second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Karen.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, thank you this afternoon.
Yeah.
Are you gonna bring the new nurse practitioner with you?
Yes. Me too.
Thank you.
Okay, next for your consideration is a resolution to authorize the execution and delivery of a lease purchase agreement. We have Under Sheriff Taylor here as well as, I think Scott is going to step back in.
So commissioners, we're still doing business with Unified Fleet Services, our fleet management company. They have changed banks, and with the new bank came a new lease structure. Historically, just a year-to-year lease, with this new structure and this new bank based on 5 years with the option to purchase, with the ability to still make it a year-to-year lease. We can opt out at 1, 2, 3 years or continue on and purchase at 5 years. What we need to do with the new bank to satisfy that lease is bring our existing leased vehicles
underneath this new bank, which requires board action in the form of a resolution. So all we're asking for is a resolution to go under this lease with the new bank for our existing 10 vehicles that the county has leased. That'll get us into 24. We are also in the process of an RFP. Because the lease program has gotten so big, we're in the process of an RFP moving forward to identify a new fleet management service for any future leases.
Questions here, commissioners?
You happy with the way the vehicles are coming through and they meet your requirements?
Yeah, we've been very happy with that. You know, it's met our needs very well. You know, the availability of purchasing a vehicle is still rough right now. We're able to lease vehicles that we have dealerships for here locally, so we're still able to support our local dealerships in the form of maintenance. So it's worked out really well.
When will your RFP close for the new fleet management program?
You know, they're, to be honest, waiting for me to finish a scope of work for that, and then I'll get it back to John's office and we'll get it published. We've got that in the works. I just need to finish a scope of work for that, and then we'll get that going. We hope to get that in and have it close the first part of January.
So we could see that even early February.
Yes.
Have we run numbers as far as cost to lease versus cost to lease purchase on these? I mean, if we're, you know, we run the full term on this, we do a lease purchase. Is there an additional fund that has to be come up with to make that final purchase, or is that included in the lease cost?
It's included in their package. If you look at your packet for this resolution, what's what they're calling Exhibit A, lists our existing vehicles. And the fleet management service breaks it down over the period of what they're calling their term. So, you know, you look at, for example, the Ford Explorer at the top line. I don't know, to be honest with you, what a new Explorer equipped to the same as this one would run if we were to go purchase it off the lot. But that breakdown does show, you know, where it would be at if you went to full term. That for in this RFP moving forward was the flexibility that we've had with Unified in the past, with being able to choose the vehicles that are going to work best for a lease, so that at the end of that term, we're not upside down with the vehicle. And they've been really good at working with us on that with these existing vehicles.
Other questions?
So what kind of a process did we go through to pick Unified?
At the time, this was about 3 years ago, we received a grant for our victim service coordinator to lease a vehicle. Since we were just leasing one vehicle, I think we had $5,000 to $8,000, if I remember correctly, to spend. It was just, you know, request for quotes at that time. And so I put it out with all of our local dealerships. Nobody was interested in doing that. This Unified was the only place that was interested in dealing with leasing a government entity one vehicle. And that's how that relationship started.
I
And
think,
again, now that, I'm sorry.
well, and I think also during COVID, we couldn't get vehicles, but Unified could, and didn't want our fleet to age or get high mileage, and this was kind of popped up at the opportune time.
Yeah, no, that's correct. And it's, you know, I think we're still seeing some of the effects of that. You know, we speak to Hellman's regularly, and they're still seeing the effects of getting vehicles in that would suit our needs. So yeah, I think this is still ongoing.
And then, no, sorry, don't mean to interrupt, go ahead.
The lease also works good for us, especially year to year or a 2-year up to 3 years. Because we're still maintaining the factory warranty on those vehicles. They're not gonna cost us anything if there's a problem. We're paying for maintenance. Historically, we're not even paying for tires for any of that stuff. We're driving them for a year or two, and then we're turning them back in and we're starting over, so that all that stuff is still going.
Other questions? Concerns?
I'm still, I mean, the same concern I've had from day one. That, you know, we purchase these vehicles, typically we purchase them for the sheriff's office. And when the sheriff's office hits that 100,000 mark or approximately, then they get passed down to other departments. And
if I may, Commissioner, that's still with our marked patrol units, that will still be the case. It doesn't make sense for us to lease a pickup and spend $16,000 on upfitting and drive it for 3 years and then reinvent this. But that will still be the case with our.
okay.
Anybody else just lose Civic Plus?
Yes.
Yep, it's gone.
No.
Wait, there it is, came back.
This is allowing us to keep the vehicles we already have leased. Otherwise, we have, I believe, 4 vehicles that we would have to turn back in January with no way to replace them.
All right, well, you know, like I said, it's been my concern ever since we started this process, just the numbers, seeing the numbers we got through RFP versus weighing out the lease cost, you know, you add in, you know, tires, other objects, other maintenance pieces, warranty issues, I just, lease companies make money doing this. So obviously there's a cost to the county to do this. Is the benefit worth the cost? That's the question I have. And a few of them that we purchased, I can see absolutely it's been a benefit. Others I get concerned that it's costing more than it's benefiting. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to fall back on everybody else's recommendation here because I'm still skeptical. So.
Just to be clear, Commissioner Ship, is what the board has before it now is these existing vehicles under an existing lease. It's not how to go forward.
Right.
In a sense.
Not reauthorizing the lease program other than these vehicles for the short term.
That's what this does, is it's 10 vehicles that are already
Okay.
in county inventory.
Okay.
And
Because of the change of banks.
There's a change of banks and yeah.
This has been a long process that the county attorney's office, specifically John, have spent a lot of time going back and forth with fleet management company, bank, other entities, and it's been a lot of work for them, you know. Thank you.
Needless to say, the first shot they took at it was pretty rough, kind of initial. So actually I worked on it, but Adriana in my office worked on it as well. Went to a meeting with Quinn, kind of when it started, and actually coordinated with some attorneys in Montrose County and City of Grand Junction and some other entities as well to try to get kind of that this would fit for Colorado a little bit.
Okay.
So what's the pleasure of the board today? Well, that's what.
Well, I move that we accept the resolution 2023-R-28.
Correct.
It's a little wordy here. Resolution to authorize the execution and delivery of a municipal lease purchase agreement with respect to the acquisition, financing, and leasing of certain equipment for the public benefit within the terms provided herein. Authorizing the execution and delivery of documents required in connection therewith, and authorizing the taking of all other actions necessary to the function of the transactions contemplated by this resolution.
Even though it's a title only a lawyer could love, I will second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Yes, so. which-
We can.
This is what I printed from.
So Quinn, we've heard Commissioner Supus is concerned about the leasing program. Could you provide, when you come back to the board, with the results of the RFP, let's see if we can provide some data to address what we're looking at here.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's what it is.
Okay,
On the contract itself.
okay.
Can I pick this up after we finish? Okay. Yeah, thank you.
No, we scratched it, we'll be fine.
We scratched it. Oh, just. Ms. Lindsay.
Right. Good morning, board. Today we have the Road and Bridge work session from 1 to 2:30 here at 560 Dodge Street. From 3:30 to 5 PM, we have Board of Health meeting. That's at here at 560 Dodge Street. Tomorrow, December 20th, 12 to 4 PM is the retirement party for Dan Sickles. That's at 320 West Fifth Street, the Human Services Building. Monday, December 25th, all Delta County offices will be closed for the Christmas holiday. Monday, January 1st is New Year's Day and all Delta County offices will be closed. Tuesday, January 2nd, we have the Board of County Commissioners regular scheduled meeting, 8:30 to noon, 560 Dodge Street. And then 6 to 8 PM that day, we also have the Republican Party meeting at Surface Creek Church, and gets us through the beginning of January. Is there anything else you'd like to add? No?
Cover the big ones.
Finishing out the year here.
Huh? Wonderful. Merry Christmas.
2023, I did.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Okay, next is the additional item then. Board's consideration of adding an additional FTE. Per our policy, then an additional FTE then comes before the Board of County Commissioners. As previously stated, this is for the additional JBBS coordinator position that we want to bring in-house to Delta County. And the job description has been finalized with the assistance of HR and consideration for you to approve for posting and for.
Carol?
Good morning.
Good morning.
As the board may or may not know, there's been some development with recent developments with our JBBS program. Recently, our JBBS administrator, Jackie Felix, turned in her resignation to integrated therapy. So we're needing to replace that person. Also with the assistance of the county attorney's office, we're gonna end our contract with integrated therapy, at the end of the year, effective the end of the year. We'll be putting out an RFP process to get those services back online as soon as possible. But our first concern at this point is to replace the JWBS administrator. And we'll be taking that in-house in the sheriff's office. That position is 100% grant funded, salaries and benefits included. So we're just for the board's consideration to approve that posting so we can get that person identified and try to get them on board so we don't have a gap in those services.
And this is a requirement of our personnel policy that or our board policy that we have to approve of any full-time employees, so.
And this has been a very effective program.
It's been very effective and that's why we just need to try to get the services back in place or continue with those services. You know, we've had state recognition, national recognition, we've had the AG's office come over and Jack and Felix has been a huge part of that and getting those services recognized for Delta County.
AG Weiser has brought up Delta County and the work you guys have done multiple places. So
the city of Denver's actually reached out to Jackie a couple times to get with their city council and develop a program for the city of Denver as well.
Well, I'll move that the board approve a full-time staff person for the sheriff's office to fill the JBBS role, coordinator role.
I second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So done. I look forward to seeing that role filled. Thank you. And that program continuing. Probably anything else for us?
Not under commissioner business.
Well, we have my addition.
Oh, yes, sorry,
Oh, that's good.
Commissioner Supus.
So given the timeliness of trying to get this letter to the mayor of Denver as quick as possible before the start of the year, I've got a letter here for Mayor Michael Johnson, the mayor of Denver, concerning the November 2024 ballot measure to prohibit slaughterhouses in Denver. And basically, we are asking him as farming and ranching community to please protect ag. Because even though it may not be a huge portion of the state, it is still a big industry in Colorado and we need to protect it, so.
I think the letter is a very good idea. One thing, we had a meeting here at CCI concerning this, and this slaughterhouse has been there 70 years and employs 170 people. And they kept referencing the city of Denver and the county of Denver. And she said that it could have statewide ramifications. She used the example that marijuana first started being legalized in Denver, and then it went statewide. Same way with mushrooms, first allowed in Denver and then went statewide. Also, the National Western Livestock Show is looking at this also, since agriculture is one of the, if not the biggest revenue driving factor in the state of Colorado. They are looking at, well, why are we in the state of Colorado if the government of Colorado is so anti-agriculture? Governor Polis a couple of years ago had Meat Out Day, and the Cattlemen's Associations got together and had Meat In Day. And that kind of raised the awareness of the National Western Stock Show Committee, just how is the government of Colorado looking at ag and supporting ag. If they get this slaughterhouse to where it can no longer operate in Colorado, and it's just not because it's a slaughterhouse, they're focusing on one business. What if another business down the street is not conforming to Denver's ideal life, and they go after that one business, even though it's a slaughtering house, they process lamb. What other business might this group target and not be able to allow to thrive in our capitalist society? But the National Western's kind of looking at this, that why are we still in Colorado if they're so anti-agriculture? So I think it's a good idea. Thank you.
I can't say it any better. Mike just said it.
Yeah.
So I'm 100% in support of this.
Yeah, we need to push back as much as we can. We live on a planet with 8 billion people now. It's always worried how we're gonna feed them. And then you got government trying to kill ag. It's one and two don't equal three here, so. I will move that the board approve and sign the letter to Mayor Johnson of Denver regarding the 2024 ballot issue for banning of slaughterhouses.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner, thank you for bringing this to us. Yes. One more. You want to sign this copy?
That's fine, yeah.
And then if you want to put it on letterhead.
We'll just get it out to them. We'll be fine.
You got that jail report?
Delta County Detention Facility Population Count Report for Sunday, December 10th. Male inmates, County Jail 30, female inmates, County Jail 3. Male inmates, Department of Corrections 3, female inmates, Department of Corrections 0, total of 36. Average daily inmate population for the week of December 3 through 10 was 40.31. Delta County Detention Facility Population Count Report for Sunday, December 17th. Male inmates, County Jail 31, female inmates, County Jail 6, male inmates, Department of Corrections 4, female inmates, Department of Corrections 0, for a total of 41. The average daily inmate population for the week of December 10 through 17 was 43.34. Is there anything else for Commissioner business this morning?
I have none.
Hearing none, we will recess until 10 a.m. for Human Services. Thank you. December 19th. And it is our Board of County Commissioners regular meeting. We're here for Human Services, and I'll turn it over to Annie Gallegos.
We are going to deviate a little bit from our traditional board meetings monthly. We have a presentation. And so I will begin with starting that within the last year, there was an opportunity for caseworkers, supervisors, directors across the state to do nominations for caseworkers for Caseworker of the Year. They received many selections, but throughout the state, they go through a selection process and they do that as a group. And one of our caseworkers was selected for that. She was nominated by Nicole Bennett. And so she is going to do a presentation for that caseworker. So
all right, so Megan Sandoval, you have been recognized as someone who goes above and beyond to support the connection and support your families within this community. I'm gonna read, this is like 2 pages long, so I'm just gonna read a little bit, but there's many reasons why you were nominated. So caseworker Megan is one of those rare people who have a contagious positive outlook and on work and life. Dedicated to intake, she's one of the first faces families see when interacting with child welfare. Due to this enthusiasm to help others, she consistently starts on a high level of respect and understanding between families and our department. She ensures to explain why we are involved and that we are here to help them succeed. As a local to our community, she uses her knowledge of the area, the businesses, and people to engage families in services and during different aspects of her work. Megan meets new potential providers and resources, and she pushes that information up to her supervisor and out to her coworkers. She will gather information during her casework and disseminate it out to staff in hopes to benefit the team. On numerous occasions, Other workers in the area will be stuck on a phone call after giving information they know, and Megan will professionally ask if they need help finding information for the caller or to provide new information to help the caller and the worker answering the call. Megan will also take on more complex cases in order to push herself to learn and work in unique situations. When creating safety plans, Megan has honed her skills as a private investigator of sorts to navigate the rural areas and to identify next of kin when needed. As I mentioned in the previous question, Megan is one of those workers that an employer dreams of having in the workplace, specifically for her drive to complete her work correctly, her positive attitude, and her ability to help others be in a positive place during work and life. So Megan, we just really appreciate you and all the work that you do. We have a plaque for you, the caseworker. I have some goodies for you. Thank you so much.
So I want to just add that I think that there was around, 70 or so applications received across the state, and they only picked 5. And so you are one of the 5 that made it here. So we're very. I think from all of us, we are very proud of you and proud of all the things you do, and we're grateful for you every day. And we would like to get a picture.
I don't know what to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bert.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you get one of these, please?
Andy, why don't you get up here too? Yes, Andy. Now, these are plural roses between the thorns.
Great, thanks.
So,
I didn't have a lot to say. I just really appreciate this and I love the work that I do. I think my favorite thing is serving a community that helped raise me. And I just appreciate my team and my family. So.
and thank you, everybody, for coming here. Just to recognize Megan, this is quite an honor for her, and we appreciate you. No, you can't leave. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Okay, thank you.
That is good stuff.
Yeah.
Why we work so.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. We will go ahead and commence. Maybe. And we'll start.
Okay, I give the payables report to. Any questions regarding payables?
I had no questions.
I have none.
As we finish up 2023, is there any issues you need to bring to our attention?
No, that I can bring up. I know that we found some cost savings, so we were able to get the Verizon bill a little bit down because we're on a different plan for emergency responders because our caseworkers are on call 24/7. We were able to get that down, and it was a little high this month because of that transition into the new plan. But after that, I think it saves us like $400 to $600 a month.
Well done.
Every penny counts. And then for the overall budget, we're supposed to be at about 83 and we're at 75%. Although our overall spending has increased, the county match is down because we're not only making sure, I'm double checking that if these kids are covered with Medicaid and that service is Medicaid eligible, that I'm reminding the providers to bill them first, so that's saved us quite a bit. And then just kind of just double checking a lot of things, so we've been state there too. And getting the state to match the 80-20 for certain services that we weren't utilizing that before.
Very good.
We appreciate your eye to detail of this.
Mask Annie. Do you really need that?
Every penny.
Where did you learn this?
Director. She's very competitive. Legacy to live up to. Overall, do you have any questions on the overall budget, county match? This month's income statement?
No.
We will see adoptions go up in the subsidized line for November and December. There'll be about 7, I think, total that will come through for those next 2 months.
And you said adoptions?
Yes, so we had a sibling group of 4, and then we have an adoption next week, 2 kids, I think. Week after that, and October we had another one too, so yeah. Yeah, the process, as I'm sure John could speak to also, that is frustrating is the appeals process. So what happens is when the termination occurs, almost all terminations are now being appealed. And so that process can take anywhere from 9 to 12 months. So the kids continue to stay either in foster care or kinship care before that actual adoption can happen. And so there's a delay to permanency. And so they just, we have to continue maintaining the cases if we would be actively working them as if the parents were involved. But then after that, they transfer into that adoption line.
How many adoptions did you complete in 2023?
Total, and just off the top of my head, I would say between 15 to 18 maybe, because we had some sibling groups go through. And that's a little high for us, but I think that there was a lot that were delayed even from terminations that happened 2 years ago, because even after the Court of Appeals may say that your termination is upheld, you can still appeal to the Supreme Court, and that's another minimum 6-week to 9-week delay.
Is that an attorney motivated? The parents, are they motivated to, or just the attorneys?
To be completely honest, it's both. So you may have parents that are motivated to do it because they believe unfairly their rights were terminated. And there are cases that we are aware of throughout the state that the parents have been the most vocal or active, but those appeals are happening at the request of the attorneys. There was even a parent that didn't even live in the United States that they filed an appeal on termination for, and he hadn't requested it. So, and that's just a case, not our case, but a case in them. So, just the litigation, I think we've been talking about, continues to increase, so that's just one of the implications.
Thank you.
Okay, so next to agenda items, we have 2 TNF Reserve Fund MOUs. One is for the backpack program, which we have traditionally funded almost every year except for last year. They were able to, I believe, tap into some ARPA funding, which helps support their program last year. And so this year, it's the same, we do the same amount, which is $30,000. And we do that same amount we have for every year. And the backpack program is designed. Have you guys ever seen the totes for the backpack program? Okay, great, because they're just wonderful. I love them. But for any kiddo age 3 to 5. And so we submitted that for the board signature for those release of those funds as well. We don't have anything.
No, it's a special childcare funding or piece of TANF that they allow because they offer the backpack programs for the coats to providers to use with their children. If they're planning it. So that's the funding that we're actually using.
So those, so you know, with those totes, the parent can receive it, a step parent can receive it, a grandparent can receive it, any place, a daycare can receive them. So any place a kiddo is at and who has contact with that kiddo can have a tote and be able to use those totes to help the kiddo's development.
All right, I will move that the board approve the memorandum of understanding for TANF funds for the backpack program in the amount of $30,000. Duration of this is December 1st, 2023 through February 28th, 2024.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Please go ahead.
Okay, next one is on for Hilltop. So we have a collaborative management program in which they receive referrals from school district, law enforcement, DHS, preschools, daycares, the housing navigator programs. They gather these referrals for families that are struggling and need some type of case management. They will then have a meeting with that family, try to remove barriers, put in services, and some of those services can be helping with rent, helping with transportation, even helping with school supplies, connecting to tutors, life skills mentors, and sometimes they open up in a prevention case for us if there's therapeutic services needed. So what has happened is that they have received so many referrals that this program is actually capped at a certain amount for every medium-sized county, small and large that operate these programs. And they're going through a little bit of a change. They will be serving now juvenile justice individuals as well. And so some of those service needs for clients are going to increase. And so we created a MOU for the TANF funds for Hilltop, which is the program that currently houses that program for client needs to support the increase in referrals that are coming to the collaborative management program. The great part is it's part of our prevention plan. And so it does prevent families from becoming system involved, whether juvenile justice or human services. And that request is for $10,000.
Well, I move that we approve the memorandum of understanding, the Colorado Works Temporary Assistance for Needy Families Supporting Services Program. The duration is January 1st, 2024 through January 31st, 2024, in an amount of $10,000 and authorize the chair to sign.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. So next, we will just do an overview of some of the programs that we've got notes on here. Eligibility is still continuing to struggle with the amount of applications coming in, changes, outreach for long-term care. Unfortunately, we're falling in a wonderful time of sickness. And so when you have 6 techs call in sick in one day, that has an impact. So they're continuing to work in overtime and use our PHE funding for that, but also continue to be supported by staff and supervisors. Today, the supervisors and leadership team are really celebrating them today in a Christmas way of having a full building Christmas party to give them a little bit of 2 hours to play games and mingle. I've seen some of the games that each unit had to create, and it's going to be some giggling going on, but really just try to provide some time and space for them to enjoy each other as frustrations just build. We have had some incidents where we've had to call court security a couple times. We've had to navigate some phone calls of, why are you doing this? And it's not us that's doing it, but I think we've handled that well. And so we've continued to, I think from the supervisors, also continue to support staff of how to navigate those conversations.
We are still seeing a lot of appeal coming through for the Medicaid assistance denials that people are getting, so those are still being pretty regular.
And that the appeals are from the state or the Fed?
From the clients themselves.
Yeah.
So now that they're redetermining for medical assistance, if they weren't eligible,
But the feds are the ones that are rejecting?
we're determining eligibility for them as we process the redetermination, so it's by their federal rules.
And some of it, you know, we expected to come in, especially with some of the SNAP pieces, and it felt like there was going to be a potential for the state to intervene, and really hasn't intervened on the level that we hoped it would sooner, because what's happening is the county is still having to prepare all those packets and information to send in, even when it's just a compliance rule that changes the state's authority. So.
And so far, we've been able to resolve any of the issues and actually meet with the clients before it actually reaches the state level hearing. So we haven't had to go to a state level hearing to prepare a packet for, but we're working on it.
Any other questions, guys?
Just wanna welcome Lynette aboard. Say, glad to have you and look forward to working with you.
I am excited to be here. I'm thankful for getting employed where I live. And I am thrilled with the people that I've met so far and the quality of staff and the hard work and dedication that they have.
Are you still thrilled after you met us? Oh, okay.
No, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
One of the big projects that Lynette has added for her next year is, we've talked a little bit about it, but differential response. And so that being a prevention mechanism and really engaging with families so that we keep them as least system involved as possible. And so she had headed that up with the state for Mesa County and for that rollout. And so she's going to be leading Delta and Montrose in this rollout next year.
A lot of experience in the arena. It is a paradigm shift in how we work with families. And can be extremely successful. In Mesa County in 1 year, we removed 100 fewer children than the year before. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
And that's worth the effort.
Absolutely worth the effort. And it is also, the research shows that caseworkers are more satisfied with their jobs. They're able to keep up on their time frames easier because you do things such as simple as calling the family first to schedule an appointment.
Right.
Nobody likes us to show up on their door unannounced. That's when my house is the dirtiest, right? Even if they have a dirty home, if you call them, can they clean it up before you get there? That's a strength. Give them an opportunity to show their best side forward, and that builds engagement. And through that, you can address the safety concerns.
Good.
So I'm excited.
Very good.
We're excited for you too.
Yeah. Adult protection, our numbers are going down a little bit. The caseworkers have been able to close some cases that have been open for a while, but successfully, and with placement, which isn't always the case. Sometimes we have to close with there being an undetermined placement at times, but there's no more identified needs or more work we can provide, and we've been able to successfully close several. So, moving on to single entry points, with Michelle, we initiated many conversations with Rocky. Now I think we have a lot of questions answered. We have a lot more guidance and knowledge about what this transition will look like. I think the staff feel a little better and at ease about having some of those questions answered about the transition, and we are working on continuing to stabilize that unit in the work. Anything you want to add?
I don't think so. I think staff do feel much better. We have all been in communication with Rocky. They've even talked about offers for staff and everything. So I think that has helped a lot with just the stress of the transit.
Very good.
And I see it's that transition day is February 29.
Yes. I believe we will, those of us who are transitioning to Rocky, I believe the date that we're actually going to be employed with Rocky will be February 12th. Just to make sure everything is in place, so as of March 1st, we can start all the Rocky benefits and everything for staff.
And we're working with HR for that transition also, so that their benefits cover through the end of February as well, so that's a piece we're working together for.
Very good.
I think that's it. And I kept your deadline for time.
I'm actually glad Rocky Mountain Health has stepped up and done the work they needed to do there.
Yes, it has been, it was a little slow coming with information, but they've been really, you know, it's been much better and there's been a lot more contact with our unit over the past several weeks. So that has been very helpful.
I also think there's a piece where they have maintained that they want the case managers to keep their same clients, same caseloads, and keep consistency. Because they do believe the retention of the program that's already running is going to be key for members. And so that has been a value that I'm glad that they're bringing to the table. No other questions, and that's all we have for you today.
What is your schedule for your department over the holidays here? Are you following the Delta County normal schedule?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. We had our Christmas party today from 12 to noon. So if you hear lots of giggling. Between now and 12 to noon.
Very short.
12 to 2, and then we'll have food and games and all kinds of. I think there's even like bingo games. It's gonna be fun. And the prizes and yeah. So we hope to recognize them and hope they enjoy it. And we do have planned also a Secret Santa reveal on the 21st. We have the traveling stocking that's been going around. We have a chili cook-off that we're gonna move to January. And that one's always good. It's fierce competition. I'm trying to think of what else. We did Christmas, we did decorating in the whole building. So there's judging that's happening on Thursday for that. And then we had Christmas cookies and had kids, employees, kids come in and decorate Christmas cookies. We got good pictures of that. Okay. That's what we've been doing.
Good for you guys.
Well, have a Merry Christmas. Thank you for all of your support and thank you for.
Merry Christmas, you guys.
You all have a Merry Christmas and thank your staff for us.
How many are gonna stay out to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning on New Year's Eve?
How many or what?
Yeah, gonna stay out till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning on New Year's Eve.
He's looking for people to.
I'm gonna say. And you can.
No. Hated it.
They appreciate it.
Is there any other business before the commissioner this morning?
I have none.
We will adjourn then. Thank you. Merry Christmas, everybody.